Hey everybody, what's going on? Hayden Crabtree here, author of Skip the Flip, commercial real estate investor, and I've got a treat for you today. We're going to be talking about Shaquille O'Neal, the big man, the basketball player, and how Shaq skips the flip, right? So I've followed Shaq for a long time. He's probably one of my favorite basketball players, and he's just a legend, right? All-around legend, and you hear so many good stories about Shaq. If you're ever on social media, you see anything about Shaquille O'Neal, it's always about him helping some guy out, buying somebody lunch, giving somebody a pair of shoes, whatever it is, and I've even seen him be giving advice to people, athletes in the younger generation about how to be smart with his money. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dissect some of Shaq's real estate portfolio and figure out if Shaq skips the flip or if he does not, and if Shaquille O'Neal and I have the same investing strategy. So it's gonna be a really cool video. Let's do it. So the first thing you can learn is that Shaq, whenever he first got started, I think he got $1 million check as he was coming into the NBA, and the story goes something like he got the $1 million, and the first thing he did is he went out and he bought a $150,000 Mercedes, and then his dad said he wants a car too, so he bought his dad a $100,000 car. And then of course he had to buy his mom a $100,000 car, and I think he went to Vegas, and essentially it's purported that he spent $1 million in a day. The first day he got $1 million, he spent it all, is at least his story. And I don't know how true that is or not, but maybe we can get Shaq on this channel to actually do an interview with us. That'd be cool. But anyways, so he learned at a very young age the importance of being smart with your money. And so he's invested in a lot of different things. He's invested, I think, in Google in the early stages, a lot of different software companies, Krispy Kremes, movie theaters, Lifetime Fitnesses, or other sorts of gyms, just a ton of different investments that have done really, really well for him, and all around him being a great guy makes me really like Shaq. But one of the things that I like Shaq most is that he's an avid real estate investor. He's been involved in some huge projects, and we're going to talk about some of his projects here today and just learn about what Shaq's done and how we can learn the same things from him too. So, if I have anything wrong in this video, I don't mean to. All this is from my own research. And so, Shaq, if you're listening and I've got anything wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm going to try and do my best to report your real estate portfolio as accurate as possible. So let's dive into it. So Shaq has some really cool different projects. A lot of them are really, really big projects with really big price tags. Now, I think Shaq's uncle is his business manager, and it said that when he first got started, they were buying $10,000 to $15,000 houses out of foreclosures. They were putting a little bit of money into them and turn around selling for $25,000, $30,000, right? So it seems like Shaq has really humble beginnings, but that progressed really, really quickly, as back in the early 2000s, Shaq said that his goal was to buy and own $1 billion of affordable housing a year. And so that's one of the things that's really a constant theme that we see in his investing, is that he's not doing it all about the profits, because he said when he was growing up, he couldn't even afford a $100 pair of basketball shoes. And so a lot of his business guidings throughout his life, he's turned deals down, he's not bought things. He's always had the theme of trying to help people who are in tough situations, which I really, really like. And so one of the things that he first did was he bought, I think it was 1,400 units out in Denver, Colorado, and surrounding areas around Denver. Bought 1,400 affordable housing units. I think they were Section 8 housing. And so Shaq bought 1,400 units for $100 million. And so if we think about that, $100 million, 1,400 units, that is a huge price tag. And it sounds a lot like, wow, it's affordable housing. This is so good. But let's not be confused. There's a lot of money in affordable housing. There's a lot of money in government guaranteed rent. And so that's what he did, right? This is a very powerful way for him, 1,400 units, to help out 1,400 different families, and also still make, probably today, a huge return on that $100 million investment. Of course, when we consider we go out and we buy $100 million, we're probably putting 20 million down, maybe 25 million down. And today, I bet those 1,400 units are probably worth $200, $300 million. He's bought those in the early 2000s. So he's probably crushed it on that investment. So we'll chalk up one win for skipping the flip in Colorado. Let's move on to the next project. So one of his next projects is he bought a movie theater. Shaq is from New Jersey. Up in New Jersey, he bought a movie theater called the Cityplex 12. And here's what the Cityplex 12 looks like. And this was an old, dilapidated movie theater that Shaq bought and renovated, and it's just another form of real estate investing. So when we think of movie theaters, it's kind of got a two-part play. It's got the building itself, and it's actually got the business component of it. Don't be confused. Movie theaters are a type of commercial real estate, and so this is another thing he did. He didn't go out, he didn't build it. He went and he He bought something that needed a lot of work, fixed it up, put some branding in there. I think there's a Shaq movie theater in there where you can go see theaters or movies in the Shaq theater room, which is really cool. But going out, putting his personal brand on twists in a hometown of his, in his home state, New Jersey, is a really, really cool project. Again, another one for commercial real estate, finding ways to add value through value add projects, getting the income up. This is another win for Shaq, skipping the flip. So another huge project that Shaqs did, and I think we find this a lot, is that he likes to team up with people who really know what they're doing. We're going to talk about that in this next project, which is Met Miami. And so Met Miami, this project right here, is a massive building. It's a multi-use, mixed-use complex. It's got office space, it has a gym in it, it has a hotel in it, and it's got 1,100 residential units. I think this thing is like 830 feet tall, which is a massive, massive building. This is a huge project undertaking. I don't know how much this one cost. I couldn't figure out how much this cost, but the price tag on this has to be hundreds of millions of dollars. A huge project that we can see Shaq was involved in. This is the time that he lived in Florida. I think he played for Orlando, and so another really cool project here that Shaq was involved in. Super cool, huge project. You can't even begin to fathom how much work a project like this takes. And so I'm sure Shaq didn't do all of this work himself. I'm sure he was I don't want to say a silent partner, but I'm sure he invested a lot of money, and they asked him about his branding, his opinion, how he could help, get people into these spaces, how to help make this a successful project. And so, when we go back and we think about what I talk about, which is the 3 keys of any deal, we have deals, we have management, and we have capital, right? Shaq is probably really only doing one piece of that. He's probably saying, oh, I got the capital for the deal. Other people on my team are bringing me deals. Other people are managing the deals for me. I'm putting money into deals, and I'm kind of adding a little bit of spice on the management side to where I'm branding these properties. I'm putting my name on it, and that's going to help attract people, right? Because who doesn't want to live or own or go to a property, a movie theater, a restaurant, whatever it is that Shaq owns, right? I mean, if you have a choice between option A, which is a regular business, and option B, which is something Shaq owns, you're going to go to option B. So that's a really cool way that he's brought his personal branding in to the real estate side to make even more profits, right? Even more revenue, even more NOI, cap rates, the whole 9 yards. But one thing that I haven't found about Shaq is I haven't found that he sells anything, right? The only thing that I've seen that Shaq sells is his different houses that he lives in. Like there's a property for sale that I think is in Orlando right now. He's trying to sell in Windmere. I think he's trying to sell something in Southern California. So he's got some different properties out there that he is trying to sell, but I haven't seen anything about him wanting to sell any of his big commercial properties. So we can only imagine he bought some of these in 2001, 2002, 2006, 2011, I think is when the Met Miami opened. So these projects right now, you can only imagine how much the value has gone up, how much more they're cash flowing, and how much equity he has in these deals, not to mention all of these different projects he's doing. Think of how much money in taxes he has saved through depreciating all these different properties and his high income from his endorsement deals, from his salary when he was playing in the NBA, and all the other businesses that he owns. So we can tell real estate has been a really powerful piece of making Shaq's wealth boom, right? And so finally, one of the last projects that I've seen that I could find out about that Shaq has done, I mean, he has the O'Neill Group, which is focused on real estate for him. So I'm sure there's a lot of projects that we as the public don't know about that Shaq is quietly invested in, that he's done on his own, but he just hasn't made noise about it. I'm sure those projects are out there all over the place, but one of the most recent things that we can find is a project called 50 Rector Park. And so it's in New Jersey, but it overlooks New York City, and this is an $80 million apartment complex build, right? So if we think about building something, and we're gonna spend $80 million to build it, we want it to be worth at least $100 million. We want it to be worth at least 20, 25% more than what we're gonna go out and do it for. So, chalk up another $100 million apartment complex in a really great location that Shaq owns. It's just incredible to think about actually being, a professional basketball player and turning that career, turning that momentum into, building $80 million apartment complexes, buying $100 million apartment complexes all over the country, all with the idea of, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to give back to people and I want people to have a great place to live. I think it's so powerful. And then in addition to 50 Rector Park, it's rumored that he's trying to start another apartment complex nearby for $150 million is how much it would cost, which is just insane numbers. And again, Shaq is a long-term thinker. He's a buyer, he's a holder, one of the early investors in Google, and it seems that he's done the same thing with his real estate holdings. When he buys something, he holds on to it, he cash flows it, he lets it ride in value. And so for that reason, I'm gonna have to welcome Shaq to Team Skip the Flip, because it seems like Shaq practices smart financial decisions, buying things for long-term cash flow, make your money work for you. And so I really like Shaq for that. I also like him because I think he has like 30 cars. Look at his garage. That is absolutely insane. I'm a car guy, but I'm also a real estate guy first. So for that reason, Shaq is welcome to come on board Team Skip the Flip anytime, because he buys commercial real estate, he cash flows it, and he lets it build wealth for him while he's living his life. So well done to Shaq. Let's all give him claps. If you have any questions, if you know any more about his portfolio, drop a comment below. If you like this, if you want to see more videos like this talking about other celebrities and whether they skip the flip or not, then we can do some more of these videos. But I thought this is interesting. I've always loved Shaq's approach and want to share it with you guys, and hope that you can do the same thing. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be a basketball player. You don't have to buy $100 million apartment complexes. If you can buy stuff that gets you excited like Shaq does, if you can go out and you can find profitable investments that get you excited, I think that's what it's really all about. And also just buying and holding and letting it cash flow, tax benefits, appreciation, the whole 9 yards. That's what it's all about. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.